this week, we can kind of see our weekly lesson plan here. All right. And our weekly checklist here, again, I'll be updating this every day. But for today, what we're going to be doing is looking at Wisconsin regions. Then there's a little graphic organizer that we're going to fill in at the same time together. So I'm going to be showing you guys that one. You have a copy in your Google Classroom. And then there's a little Google form on Wisconsin regions and cities. You're going to be writing some sentences and answering some questions. We're going to look at a map and kind of interpret that and look at those regions of Wisconsin. Okay? Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody can see what we're looking at there. You can see this screen right here, right? So the first thing we want to do is we can go into our Wisconsin regions assignment, and there's a slide showing there, and I'll bring that up so we can all see that slide, the slides for that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So we remind ourselves, we learned what a region was. It's when we group places together, right? And that's kind of what we'll still be looking at, but now we're going to divide Wisconsin into regions, okay? So we can see right here, Wisconsin has 5 different regions, okay? And we're going to be talking all about this. Maybe everybody can turn off their mic real quick, or turn on their mics real quick if you can. Everybody got it? Let's see. All right, Cheetah, oh, perfect. So let's say these out loud. We'll just go through so we know how to say them. The first one is the Lake Superior Lowland. Let's say that with me. Lake Superior Lowland.
Lake Superior Lowland.
Let's see, Yalian and Cheetah, one more time. Everybody together. Lake Superior Lowland.
Lake Superior Lowland.
Yeah, when we say Superior, we're actually talking about the big Great Lake that's north of Wisconsin. It's actually the biggest Great Lake is Lake Superior. Then we go down here. Say this with me. Say Northern Highland.
Northern
Highland.
Now one more time. Northern Highland.
Northern Highland.
What do you think Highland might mean?
Like
Highland.
The really high. Like
Yeah. It's kind of a mountain, but it's more like the land is just higher elevation than the normal land. Because like if you go down near the beach, the land is really low. And this is just higher land. It's not a lot of mountains really, but it's like the land is kind of hilly and higher. Yeah. And then the next one we have, everybody say Central Plain.
Central
Plain.
Yep. Let me hear Yalian jump in there too. Central Plain.
Central Plain.
One more time, Cheetah. Central Plain.
Central Plain.
Good. And then we have everybody together. Let's say Western Upland.
Western Upland.
Yeah, Western Upland. One more time. Western Upland.
Western
Upland.
There we go. And then we'll get over here to this one. Everybody say Eastern Ridges and Lowlands.
Eastern Regions and Lowlands.
Yep. One more time, everybody. Eastern Ridges.
Eastern Ridges
and Lowlands.
And
Lowlands.
Okay. So we can see now, anybody know where's Green Bay? Which region is Green Bay in? Anybody know? Which of those 4 regions? Think about the hand.
The Eastern region?
Yeah, it's in the Eastern Ridges and Lowlands. It's right here. And we'll see it a little bit later too. So now we have to figure out, why are these regions different? What do these different regions share? So we'll start here with the Lake Superior Lowland. You see how we got that kind of highlighted to make it very clear where that is. So a couple of things about the Eastern Superior Lowland. It is near Lake Superior. Right, everybody say that together with me. Say Lake Superior.
Lake Superior.
Yeah. Which lake is nearby Green Bay? Do we know? Do you know which lake is near Green Bay? Like, what's the big lake nearby? And let's look at real quick. Let's look at a U.S. map and get a better idea of this. Oh, we could use. Let's use Google Maps. This will be fun. Oh yeah. See, there's the U.S. We can see Wisconsin. Let's just zoom in the boom here. You guys remember zoom, zoom, and the boom, boom? Let's zoom in here. We can see the star right where we are, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as I zoom in, notice Wisconsin, we have two big lakes here. These are called the Great Lakes because they're so big. And it's actually a really special part about the United States because we have all these freshwater lakes that really help us because we got a lot of water that we can use. We don't have to like get it from the ocean and heat it up and cook it to make it drinkable. So we can see right here near Green Bay, we have Lake Michigan is on the eastern side. And then if we scroll up on the northern side, we have Lake Superior. And Lake Superior is the biggest Great Lake. It's actually the largest size. Okay?
Okay. Hey, Mr. T.
Yeah.
There's dangerous if like the lake break.
Is the lake what?
If the lake broken, there's a dangerous because
If
your
it's-
cities have a lot of waters.
If it's broken, what do you mean if the lake's broken?
The lake what does the lake look like? It's the one covered the water, right?
A lake is like a big, huge, like, it's just a big body of water.
Ah,
Like,
I thought
it's not a river. A lake just sits, right? I mean, so a river flows, right?
Mhm.
But a lake just kind of sits in one spot. This is where the glaciers would have pulled back, and then the rivers will feed into the lake.
Oh,
Okay?
Mhm.
So like something like Lake Superior is a huge, massive lake. So they don't really break. They just kind of sit there. And actually, if you look at Lake Superior, it looks almost like an ocean. Like have you guys seen Lake Michigan?
Not really.
Like if you go out to Lake Michigan, like there's some spots down south of us. You can go down the beaches down there. And when you look out at Lake Michigan, it looks something like, it looks like the ocean. It's smaller than the ocean, but it looks kind of like the ocean. If you go down to Chicago too, you can see Lake Michigan. Chicago's right on Lake Michigan. So like you can see how it looks. Have you guys have been to the ocean, right?
Mm.
So it really looks like the ocean because it's so big you can't see to the other side of Lake Michigan. It just looks like it keeps going on and on, just like the ocean does.
Okay.
So most lakes, though, if you look at like, let's say, let's find another lake. How about we say, if we look at some other lakes, you can actually see the other side, the land on the other side, because they're kind of small. Okay?
Okay.
So that's kind of important to remember. But again, the first one we look at is Lake Superior lowland. This region is right next to Lake Superior. And Lake Superior is the largest Great Lake and the deepest Great Lake. Now, one thing about the Lake Superior lowland is it's called the lowland because the land is lower because it's near the water.
Mhm.
And it's really low compared to the other parts of Wisconsin. So even like these parts down here, it's lower than those because it's near Lake Superior. Now, this is why we need some of these terms. We had a lot of ridges and escarpments. Nearby this, we can see it, right? We can see here's a little escarpment right there, right? And some of those mountain ridges kind of, not really tall, but that's just there because the water kind of flows back. And a lot of forests and rivers, okay? And then we have some big cities that are here, like Superior and Ashland. They're not really huge cities. They're not really big, but they're the biggest cities there. So what I want to do is kind of look at this and gather the information. Now, what you guys can do is on the assignment here, I put this map here too. We'll use that a little later. But what you can do is scroll down. And you guys should see a graphic organizer like this. Okay. So what I want to do is fill in the region. What was the name of that region again? It was the Lake Superior lowland. So what I'm going to do is type Lake Superior. Okay.
Mhm.
And I already know like the important cities. If we heard those, Superior and Ashland are two cities in that region. Okay. The major highways, we're gonna look at this map later and see what some major highways are. But we're not worried about that right now. And the total population we'll see. Now, how would I describe this region? What are some ideas if I look at this that I would describe? Well, I think I would say it has many escarpments. And what was the other one? Ridges. And it has a low elevation. And elevation, we didn't use this term, but elevation is how high it is in the air. Like a mountain, right? A mountain has a really, really high elevation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But this land does not. Like Green Bay, does Green Bay have a high elevation, do you think?
I don't think so.
Not really, right? There's not many places. There's some places with some small hills, but really it's kind of flat here, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like some places, if you go out maybe towards Howard, there's like a big hill, some big hills there, but not really high elevation here in Green Bay.
Yeah, my parents did kind of show me like the pictures when we went to some place.
Mm-hmm.
They have like elevations, and then like you step on it, and it went really high, and you can see like all like the town. I don't know, like down there.
Yeah. And we can even see here. Here's the elevation of Green Bay, actually. The elevation, we think about sea level, like when you're by the ocean, that's 0, right? When you get by the ocean, that's the lowest you can be. So the elevation of Green Bay is actually 581 feet only. So not very high in the air, right? The land doesn't go too far up. And if we look at a place like Superior, Wisconsin. It's not showing us some good data here. Let's get some good data. Like this. No, what is this? Yeah, just it looks like it's about 666 feet up. So as we kind of see these different places, the elevation kind of goes up and down through Wisconsin where there's hills and things like that. So this is about the same as Green Bay. It's kind of low. Right?
Yep.
And maybe we'll see as we go through. So we would say it has a low elevation. And now I've described using some of this slides. I could also maybe put that it is near Lake Superior. Okay.
Okay.
And I think that's everything. So that's my first one. Now let's look at the next one. And this is the Northern Highland. We see right there. And as we go in, let's just look here and see. We have Wausau. Say that with me. Say that. Say Wausau.
Wausau.
Yeah. Everybody else, Cheetah, Yalian, say Wausau.
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 Wausau, yeah. And a lot of these names are very cool because a lot of the Wisconsin names, do anybody know where they come from?
Nope.
No? Cheetah, Yalian, do you know any guess where the names for a lot of Wisconsin places come from? If we're not sure, a lot of them come from the first people of Wisconsin, the Native Americans, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more. But a lot of these names are Native American names. So on this slide, we can see that, let's just take a look at the elevation. Let's double check that again since we're talking about it. Elevation of Wausau. It seems a lot different. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a big difference, right? What was it in Green Bay again?
100, like 100 something.
It was like 500, right? And look at this one. This is double.
Like 1,000.
It's like 1,000. So think about that. Why is it called the Northern Highland? Right? Why is this the Northern Highland? Well, the land is higher than the rest of other parts of Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the highest place in Green Bay is Timms Hill. There. And this region, if we look at the map, maybe we can see, look how big it is. It is the largest region in Wisconsin. Okay. And it looks like the interesting thing is if you kind of see this is what it might have happened. A long time ago, there were big mountains in this region. But over a long period of time, 2 million years, which is a long, long time, over 2 million years, they kind of got smaller and smaller from the water and rain and wind shrinking down. And it kind of looks like something like that picture. You have this big, sharp mountains, and slowly over time, they get smaller and smaller. And again, if it's 2 million years, that's a long time for something to happen.
Yeah, and now it's look like the first one, the first point arrow.
Yep, now look, this is like, they're not really mountains, they're kind of like these really big hills, right? We don't have a lot of mountains in Wisconsin.
Oh, I didn't know that the rain can like affect like the mountain.
Oh, well, I mean, it doesn't, you don't think about it, but over a long period of time,
2000.
like there was I saw a picture, I just saw it yesterday, I wish I'd thought of it. Let's see if I can find it. Affecting cement. Let's see if there's I saw a really cool picture and I wish I had seen it. Well, you can see kind of here, like think about if rain keeps falling and falling, like what happens in the road, right? As the rain falls and the snow and things like that, it just starts to come in. And what happens is the water picks up other things like sand and dirt and rocks, and it drags it along against it and kind of breaks it up slowly in tiny little pieces over time. And we don't see it. It's not like one thing, but it's over a long period of time that it'll start to, we call it erosion, right?
It's kind of, it's kind of like a mudslide.
Sorry, Nali?
I said that's why we have like the mudslide. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can have mudslides too. That's like a big event that'll happen, but this is like a slow event that goes over a long period of time. I don't know if this one will show right there. No, they don't have very good ones. Like other things, like as the wind blows, the wind will pick up sand and dirt, and over time, that will also kind of erode and take away some of the, even a mountain, even a rock, like it just happens, right? So that's kind of what happened to the mountains. The mountains also, let's see if this goes, no. Oh, they don't get good pictures. I tried to find a really good one. That's the best one I had. I mean, that's kind of like the mudslide as you're talking about, stuff like that. Oh, that's more like, it's a good one. They don't have good ones. But anyways, we can think of it again, like think about all those little pieces of things. Like if you put something in your water, like, I mean, you guys probably see it sometimes too, where you put like, you'll take a cube of salt or something and put it in your water, right? And what happens when you start to stir around that water? What happens to salt or other things too? It starts to break apart, right?
Yeah.
But if you just let it sit there, it'll just kind of sit there and nothing will happen. But once you start stirring that water around, it'll start to erode and take away the stuff in your drink. So we could say that there are about over 2 million years that eroded that. And there's a lot of forests and rivers and lakes in this part. So if you ever drive across this part of Wisconsin, there's a lot of big pine tree forests all the way across. It's kind of interesting. It looks a little different than what you're used to in Green Bay, although we have a lot of forests here too. So let's see, what will we write on our document? I want to write, this is the Northern Highland. And what do we say it has? What we have?
We have a high elevation.
That's good. I like that term. High elevation. The largest region in Wisconsin. What else can we say? We said that, oh yeah.
Forests, rivers, and lakes here.
All right, we have forests. A lot of forests and rivers and lakes. And notice the forest is the first thing on there, right? And we have
really old mountain.
I like that. Really old mountains. Right? But now they're hills. Right? And what's the place that's in this region? It's in Wausau. one of the, that's okay. We're going to learn them as we go. Okay, so I like how we did that. So what I want you guys to do now is go ahead and open up your slideshow and open up your documents. Okay, we got 3 other ones left. Now what you also might do is take the pictures here and sugar. And press Control X to cut and Control V to paste. And what we can do is paste each image. So the first one is this one here. I Control X, and I want to paste this in so I remember where that region is. Okay, and then I have it in my graphic organizer, so I know which one. And then which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which one is the Northern Highland? Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? Which one is the Northern Highland?
They all look like the same but different color. I think the fourth one.
The fourth one, yeah, because we can see this. I tried to make them colored in certain spots so we can see them more clearly. This is the Northern Highland, just so we can identify it on a map.
Oh.
And read that map, right?
Yes.
That map looks like this map here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you guys can do is open that up, and I want you to go through the slides, and I tried to make the slides pretty simple, so you can just get some very big ideas. Like this one, I put a little story kind of how the different areas were made, maybe. Like this area was created by glaciers and explains how the glaciers did that. Some of the others have just a couple little tiny things because there's not a lot to them, right? But we always have the cities in there. So I want you guys to open up those documents, and you can kind of go between your slide, gather some information for each region, and then go back to your graphic organizer so you can fill it in and have some ideas there. So then when you do your Google form, it'll be a little easier, okay? So do you guys, Cheetah, do you understand what we're going to do right now?
Yes.
Okay, Yalian, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and open those up. I'm going to take my share off. I'll go into your documents too and kind of see where you're at on your document. And just watch as you kind of work through it. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. But we'll work through this for, we'll say about 15, 20 minutes. I want you guys to get some work time on this, and I'll kind of monitor you as you do it. Okay?
Okay.